Hello, Facebook Live. Good evening, good evening. I hope to find you well. And I just wanted to jump on here and provide a little bit of real estate value to you for those of you who are looking to buy in the near future. Would love to be able to help you out. I loved how someone yesterday was saying when they shared the post from last night, which was also some real estate nuggets for you. They put, as they shared it, that it was free information, and that is exactly what this is. So definitely tune in if you know someone who is looking to buy. I'm going to give you 6 key things that you definitely need to know whenever you are getting ready to apply or get ready to apply for a mortgage or get ready to go into that season of your life. This is really, really important. We have unfortunately had people who did not realize these steps while they were in the midst of trying to purchase a home. And oh my gosh, it killed the deal. It straight up killed the deal. And I haven't had a whole lot of that happen, but I can definitely attest to the first few years of getting into real estate as you're still trying to learn things and you're learning from the lender and you're learning through experience and all of the things. Like, we just don't know everything there is to communicate until we go through it. And then we learn, I better make sure next time that I let the people know somehow that they're educated so that these types of mistakes and stuff don't happen. But as you're coming in, definitely say hello. Would love to know who I'm chatting with tonight. And of course, anytime I'm on here, I love interaction. So if you would like to ask questions or just jump in and comment about anything, you could just say, hey, or tell me about your day or whatever it is. I'm so happy to be able to hear from you and to learn and all the things. But I will say today was a very interesting day. Today, my grandmother was buried, and so I know many of you have been walking as I've opened the door for you to walk with me through that journey. So today was the day that an official tribute was sent off for her and her body was placed into the ground. So she will definitely be missed. Her service was absolutely beautiful, very beautiful. Super appreciative to Pastor Frederick Vehe. He did a beautiful job preaching her funeral, and then there were several people who contributed, who were on it. That definitely made it special. Wonderful vocalists, wonderful vocalist. And it was like the music, it was the style of my grandmother. She grew up in a different season, in a different generation. And so it was that old timey gospel music that had the blues vibe and, the hymns and just the kind of music that like you really don't need much accompaniment behind it. It stood on its own so well with just voice and the feet stomping and the hands clapping, that type of music. Or if you did want a little bit of accompaniment, the piano would do, and it didn't have to be in tune, because the harmony of the voices coming together was just so amazing. So anyways, but that was most of the music was that, and it just made me think of her, because that was the type of music that she was singing, and of course it should have made us think of her. So beautiful service today. Okay. So I want to go ahead and get into sharing with you some of this, and I am going to end up sharing this video inside of List Pray Close, which is an online Facebook community that I have started, and it's for people who are beginning in real estate. Like you're beginning as far as you wanting to know how to invest, or you're wanting to know how to buy your first property to live in, you're wanting to know how to sell the first property that you ever sold, that sort of thing. It's mainly for beginners. And then for people who haven't done it in a long time, this would be really good for you too. So this information will go inside of there. But yes, as you are coming in, definitely say hello, just so that I know who I'm getting a chance to chat with. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. So, and I have some notes on the side here. So if you see me look away, because y'all know I can go off on tangents. So I've got some notes over here. And I'm just going to make sure that I keep up with this so that this live is not long at all. But I just want to go over 6 key things that you definitely need to avoid whenever you are applying for a mortgage. This is so important. So number 1, you definitely do not need to deposit any cash into your bank accounts before you speak with your loan officer. And yesterday, if you had a chance to listen in on the live, you heard me kind of talk about this already before. So don't deposit any cash into your bank account without talking to the loan officer. And the reason why is because all of the, I got a little itch, all of the cash has to be traceable. All of the income, all of the money basically has to be traceable. So I was talking about this, especially concerning people with side hustles, people that get paid through Cash App, people that get paid through some of these other apps that are not like bank institutional apps, or that isn't PayPal, which PayPal does send you, it sends you a form, a tax form at the end if your business is paid that way. But if it's an app, a money app that does not do that, then these are the apps like that you need to take a big pause on, because it's hard to trace them. So your loan application, you getting the approval, it could be hard, if that's the only way that you're getting paid. But that's the reason why you don't want to just take a whole bunch of cash and just apply it, okay? Or just deposit it. Hold on 1 minute, guys. What had happened? Okay. The other thing is, you don't want to make any large purchases like a new car, new furniture. You don't need to do any of those things. Any large purchases that will require you opening up a new account. This is huge. And the reason why you don't want to do that before you talk to a loan officer is because your debt to income ratio will be affected. So what is a debt to income ratio? The debt to income ratio, debt, is how much debt you currently have, meaning what is showing up on the credit report. That's what matters the most. So if you have other pieces of debt that aren't showing up, it may matter as far as what you feel like you're able to afford, like your own budget. But as far as the approval process, the things that don't show up on the credit report don't matter. So, but a new car, new furniture, opening up a new account like that is definitely going to more than likely end up showing up on your credit report. Hey, Miss Tonya, I can see your face. I'm seeing other people giving, but I can't tell who it is. So I'm sorry, but definitely let me say hello as you come in. And I appreciate the thumbs up, especially if it's good information that you could totally utilize, okay? So you definitely don't want to open those up, because what it does is it causes your debt to rise. And so we were talking about debt to income. So it's the amount of debt that you have versus the income that you make. And there is a certain percentage that all mortgage companies have, depending on also the type of loan that you have, that each person has to meet. So people, their first question always is, well, what does my credit score have to be? Well, yes, there's a requirement for credit score, but the credit score is not the only thing. There's the credit score minimum that you have to meet, plus your debt to income ratio that you also have to meet, okay? So how much debt do you have compared to how much income you have? And you have to meet that ratio in order to qualify for the loan. And if you end up going and buying a brand new car, even if it's a used car, it's brand new to you, opening up a new account there, or open up a new furniture account there, that could potentially cause damage in a way where it's just like you can't buy yet. Or you're going to have to pay something off. You're going to have to get that debt off of there or pay it down so that it meets it. So I would say if you are watching, please share this information too, especially if y'all know somebody has said out of their mouth this year that they want to get a new car and they want to get a new house. You have got to share this with them. Tell them, say, hold up, wait a minute, Melissa said, okay, and just let them listen to this because this is so true. So you want to wait. And I would say, unless your job depends on it, or if you can pay cash for something that's really, really used and it'll get you from point A to B temporarily, try to either pay cash for the car or wait if you can. If you can't, I totally get it. If it's affecting your income, I totally get it. But the house is where the asset is going to be. And if you can hold off temporarily for, buying you a new car, get the house first, then get the car. If that's possible, okay? Because after you get the house, it doesn't matter. You can go and, if you can qualify for a car after that, like, awesome. That's great. But it doesn't work it doesn't always work the other way. It doesn't always work that you can get the car first and then qualify for the house. It doesn't always work that way. It depends on your own individual situation, meaning how much income you're currently bringing in versus how much debt you already have. All right, please give me a thumbs up if some of this is making sense. Hey, Erica, she says, I remember getting denied for an apartment based on that. Yeah, it's so true. Like, it's not even just dealing with the mortgage situation. I'm so glad you brought that up because I know a lot of people are also potentially looking for places to rent and they're wondering, like, why are things falling through? And these are the things that people look at on the credit score for sure. Like, this makes sense because what it tells somebody, this is when the numbers really matter. What it tells somebody, the lender or the landlord, it's telling them, like, you're already about, like, maxed out. The amount of income you're bringing in, over half of it or almost half of it, you are having to pay on these bills. Like, they're looking at this going, you're either going to have super tight months or you're going to be late paying me or you're not going to be able to pay me. So this is why there's a certain ratio, there's a healthier ratio of debt versus income that people are looking at. Hey, Susan. Oh, she know what I'm talking about because Susan is a hot lender. I love Susan. She's pretty awesome. Okay, so if that makes sense, definitely give me a thumbs up. All right, the other thing I want to say is definitely don't co-sign other loans for anybody before applying for this mortgage. So this goes back to the point that I just made. When you co-sign, when you go in and co-sign with someone else, you are obligating yourself to pay that. So that basically means that if they don't pay, you're saying that you'll take care of it. And in the lender's eyes, that is your debt because your name is on that loan. So don't do it. It could, once again, conflict with your debt to income ratio. All right. The other thing I would say is don't change bank accounts. Once again, if your income is coming into a certain place, all of this stuff has to be traceable, right? So you don't want to start changing up the bank accounts and stuff. If you're in the red, get it in the green. Get it in the green, budget things out. So that way, when you're providing those bank statements to the loan officer, you've got something good and substantial that somebody can rely on. Obviously, that's going to send red flags if you're turning in bank statements that are showing that you're deficient every month. That becomes a real issue for somebody to have to explain. So we're trying to make things easy and smooth for you. So this is how you prepare. So if you're finding that if you're finding that you're in the red every month and this has been an ongoing practice, that's nobody's fault. That is you needing to sit down and budget and really figure out what's coming in, what's going out, what doesn't need to be coming in, where are some places that I can cut, do I need to get another job? Whatever it is, right? Like it's one of those things. Are there some expenses that I can kind of figure out? But this is, if you want to get a house, this is what's going to have to happen. Okay. The other thing was, don't apply for new credit. And this goes back to the things I was talking about the new car and the new furniture. Yeah, Susan, you late. I already talked about the no cash app. Actually, if you can think of all of the names of the ones that you come across, that would be super helpful. I can't remember all of the different names. I know PayPal is probably good, and just correct me if I'm wrong on that, but PayPal does provide the tax records for people who receive income through PayPal, but Cash App, I do not know them to do that. And so if you can remember some of the other apps, that would be super helpful. So people can definitely check what they are currently using. And then the last tip, number 6, is not to close any credit accounts. So I know a lot of people, like, they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, Melissa, I got such and such debt, and but before I try to buy a house, they'll come to ask me, like, you know, what the process is, which is awesome. Definitely grabbing the information. And by the way, if you want to know the steps without any obligation, without having to do anything, you are more than welcome to join me inside of List, Pray, Close. I have 3 videos, the Welcome Home series. It lays out 10 steps for you to have a successful process, and it tells you the information. There's no pressure from me. There's no pressure from anybody. You listen to it to your own time. It's like me being in your living room, talking to you, having a one-on-one. It's pretty awesome. But you can actually listen to it while you're in the shower or while you're driving, whatever. So if you want access to that, definitely put some honeybees or some bumblebees in the comments below, and I will get you in. But what I was going to say is just that, you don't want to close any credit accounts because, and I know a lot of people do this because they think, well, I don't want to have any debt whatsoever before I buy a house. And the thing is, when you start closing out accounts, it sends a different message to the people who are getting ready to lend you money. Even though, because I am so pro debt free, I totally get it why you would do that. But if you're playing the credit game, there's a different way you have to play, because they actually want to see, number one, that you are able to be responsible with different types of debt. And they want to see record that you're paying things off regular, or at least paying the minimum regularly, or, just things like that. They have to see that you have been responsible with debt. So when you start to close things off, things start to change when it comes to the algorithm is the better word that I can use, but the algorithms and the ratios that Experian has, that TransUnion has, that, TransUnion, Experian. Why did I forget? I don't even know. TransUnion, Experian. I forgot the last one. Y'all know it. Just go ahead and. But anyways, it starts to change in those algorithms, and what you think would be for you actually starts to work against you when you start to pay down the Equifax. Thank you, Susan. Equifax, yes. Okay, so some of the other apps, Zelle, yes, that one, and Venmo. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Susan. Yes. Susan, who is a top-notch loan officer. Many of you who are inside of List, Break, Close, you probably already know Susan or have heard or been talking to her. But she says, don't transfer money back and forth to other people not on your application. Yes, this is so good. So good. So I think this happens probably like when it comes to like the savings account and stuff like that, like you're moving money around. Susan is saying don't transfer money back and forth to other people that are not on your application. So if it's Pookie and them, they don't know, your daughter, if she's not buying the house with you, no, let it be. Heather says, we are preparing to build. Yeah, definitely a nervous process. I can imagine, for sure. Building from the ground up is definitely more intensive, I would say, than just buying something that's already built, for sure. Okay, guys, so those are some key facts, but I will say that you definitely just want to, before you do anything, the main thing that I would recommend is that if there's an idea coming to your mind, like you're thinking about moving some money. Hey, boo-boo. Y'all see Asa. Say, hey, Asa, boo-boo. If you are thinking about moving some money, or if you thinking about, oh man, I was planning on buying such and such, or getting something. If you're thinking about doing anything with the money, ask the lender first. Do not move without talking to your loan officer first. I'm not saying that all of these things would be detrimental. Every person's situation is different. Y'all to see him. He's looking at me making those noises to get attention. But everybody's situation is different. So what may not have hurt somebody over here might be an issue for you over here, So you want to talk to your loan officer and make sure that they tell you the right steps that make sense for you. Okay, guys. I hope this has been helpful. Once again, if you know somebody that would find this information helpful, please feel free to share it. And I am going to go spend time with Asa Bug over here who is watching. All right, guys. Y'all have a fabulous rest of your night, and I will see you on tomorrow.